Namaste everyone, this is Sandeep and welcome to my channel on Study by Sandeep Dhiman. Today we are going to discuss about Lodi dynasty. Okay, we are discussing lesson number 13 and in this lesson we had discussed about slave dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty. Okay, and this is the last dynasty, the Lodi dynasty. Okay, let's start. So we had read that after killing the last ruler of Sayyid dynasty, Behlul Lodi established the Lodi dynasty. Okay, and important things I'll be telling you. So here is the important thing. Question is, which ruler never sat on the throne? It was Behlul Lodi who never sat on the throne. Okay, he had declared that he was one among the nobles. Okay, and why did he do so? To please the nobles. Clear? And he was a religious person and he extended his rule from Punjab to other parts of the Bihar. And next is Sikandar Lodi. If we talk about Sikandar Lodi, he succeeded his father. He was the son of Behlul Lodi and he was very generous towards the Muslims and ulemas. Important question, which ruler helped the poor Muslims and gave money to the poor widows for marrying their daughters? So it was Sikandar Lodi. If we talk about his religious policy, he was very harsh and intolerant towards Hindus. And important question, which ruler destroyed temples and constructed mosques in their place? So it was Sikandar Lodi who destroyed temples and constructed mosques. Important question, which ruler reimposed jizya on Hindus? It was again Sikandar Lodi. Okay. Important question again. Who founded the new city of Agra? It was Sikandar Lodi who founded the new city of Agra in 1506. Okay, and he made Agra his capital and shifted the center of art from Delhi to Agra. Next and last ruler of Lodi dynasty, it was Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, he ruled from 1517 to 26. He was the son of Sikandar Lodi and he was very intelligent, able and brave ruler, but he had to face many rebellions and he failed to subdue Rana Sanga of Mewar. So important question, Sikandar Lodi failed to subdue which ruler? So it was Rana Sanga of Mewar. Next is, he replaced the old and senior military officers and appointed young and brave officers. This displeased the old nobles, and an old noble, Daulat Khan, who was the governor of Punjab, he invited Babur to invade India. Who was Babur? He was the ruler of Kabul. He was very strong, so Daulat Khan invited him to invade India. Okay, not only Daulat Khan but some other rulers like Rana Sanga. Okay, he had also invited Babur to invade India. Okay, many small rulers invited Babur to invade India and rule there. Next is the Babur invaded India and met Ibrahim Lodi. Important thing, which battle was the first battle of Panipat? Which battle ended the power of Delhi Sultanate or ended the Delhi Sultanate? It was the Battle of Panipat, which was fought in 1526 between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. In this battle, Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi and killed him, and this was the end of Delhi Sultanate and the beginning of Mughal period. Hopefully up to here everything is clear to you. Let's discuss the administration. If we talk about the administration, then Sultan was the head of the state and he was the chief executive and highest court of appeal. Okay, means he was the chief justice. Okay, and he had a council of ministers. If we talk about his ministers, then Diwane Bajarat, he was just like the prime minister of today, and he looked after the finance and entire central administration. If we talk about Diwane Urj, he was just like the defense minister of today, and Diwane Insha, he was in charge of entire correspondence of the state with the rulers of other independent states, mean just like state ministers. If we talk about chief breeds were the spies, okay, detectives. Today's Raw, just like our Raw is there, chief reads worked the same. And if we talk about the Qazi ul Qazat, he was just like the Chief Justice of Supreme Court. Okay, if we talk about the Vakil Dar, just like the secretary, the personal secretary of Prime Minister. Okay, he looked after the comfort of Sultan and his family. Next, if we talk about the society was mainly divided into two classes, Hindus and Muslims. If we talk about the Muslims, it was the ruling class, and it was divided into two sects, Sunni and Shia. Muslim enjoyed the higher economic status, and during the Sultanate period, slave system was very popular. Okay, Firoz Tughlaq had 180,000 slaves, and the condition of women was not good, and Muslim kept more than one wife. And if we talk about widows, then the Muslim widows were allowed to remarry, but in Hindu society, remarriage of widows was not allowed. If we talk about Hindus, then they were the majority, but they were economically backward, and they were not given high posts. Hindu society was based on caste system. Lower castes were exploited by the higher classes, and this led to wide scale conversion to Islam. Okay, so this was the caste system was the main reason for the conversion to Islam. Hindu society suffered from many evils. Okay, so many evils were prevalent there, like sati system, child marriage, ban on widow remarriage, and female education, intercaste marriage. They were also not allowed. So these were the evils, and they led to the conversion to Islam. If we talk about economy, then agriculture was the main occupation, which was mainly dependent on rain. Irrigation, some irrigation facilities were also there, like canals and wells were constructed. And Firoz Tughlaq, he constructed many canals that helped in irrigation, but still farmers led a life of poverty and misery. If we talk about industries, then few industries were also there, like spinning, weaving, sugar production, handicraft, pottery, and jewelry making. And some sultans also patronized art and craft. Sultans had their own karkhanas, which manufactured luxury goods for the royal family. And if we talk about the trade, then India had flourishing internal and external trade, which was carried by both sea and land routes. And this thing you need to remember: India exported rice, spices, indigo, textiles, silk, and sandalwood, and imported house wine, high grade textiles, glassware, raw silk, etc. If we talk about the religion, then Hinduism was the dominant religion. It was followed by the majority of the people. If we talk about the sects, then Vaishnavism and Saivism were popular in Hinduism. Jainism and Buddhism were also practiced by the people. And if we talk about the Islam, who brought Islam to, important question, who brought Islam to India? So Muhammad Ghori and Muhammad Ghazni, they brought Islam to India. And Muslims believed in one God, whereas Hindus worshipped many gods. Sufism and Bhakti movements, they were also started during this period. If we talk about language and literature, then Khadi Boli and Braj Bhasha, they became popular, and prose and poetry was written in these languages. And on the other hand, Muslim used a mixture of Persian and Arabic in their codes. And the introduction of historical literature was an important contribution of the time. Ziauddin Varni, very famous, who wrote Tahqiq-e Firoz Shahi was written by Ziauddin Varni. Amir Khusro, he was also a literary genius, and he was not only a poet but also a music composer and historian. Local languages like Bengali, Gujarati, they were also used. Bhakti and Sufi saints used local languages. Urdu was a mixture of Turkish and Hindi. Important question. Urdu is a mixture of Turkish and Hindi. Next, many Indian classic Classics were also translated into Persian, Turkish and other languages. If we talk about the art and architecture, then with the help of Indian craftsmen, a new style of architecture was developed that is known as Indo-Islamic architecture, and its impact is clearly visible on monuments of the period of that period. Okay, Kutubi Masjid. Its other name is Quwwat ul Islam. Okay, and Qutub Minar. These both monuments are in Delhi, and they were constructed by Qutbuddin Aibak. Who was Qutbuddin Aibak? He was the first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate, and he had started the work of Qutub Minar, but it was completed by Iltutmish because Qutbuddin Aibak died early. Alauddin Khalji, he built Alai Darwaja near the Quwwat ul Islam. Very important question. Who built Alai Darwaja and where is it? It is in Quwwat ul Islam and it was built by Alauddin Khalji. And look here. Do you know this is Khalji wanted to build a minar in front of the Qutub Minar, which was to be double of its height, but he died early, so his dream could not be fulfilled. And next is Tughlaq founded many cities like Firozshah Kotla, Firozabad, Tughlaqabad. Okay, they are very famous. Important question is here, Ghiyasuddin's tomb. It is very famous. Why is it famous? For its shape. It is octagon. Octagon means eight-sided. Its shape is eight-sided. And it is in front of, where is it? It is in front of the Tughlaqabad fort in South Delhi. Where is Tughlaqabad fort? It is in South Delhi on Mehrauli Okhla, now Mehrauli Badrapur road. Okay, so this is all. One thing left, that is Lodi road and Lodi garden. Where are they? They are in Delhi. Okay, so this is all for today. Hopefully you got all the points. In next video we'll discuss the question answers. Okay, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.